Hi guys, welcome back. It has been about a week since I posted a video due to personal circumstances and YouTube being the newest thing on my plate. It was the first thing I had to take off when things got a little bit crazy. So I'm back and I wanted to start off with my video after it being some time. I wanted to try to cover a bunch of different things, but I think what will end up happening is I will just be posting probably a couple more videos each day to kind of keep up with all the stuff that happened last week. But for now, I kind of wanted to talk to my friends, my family, anybody that just sees me on the street, and just kind of put my political 2 cents out there. I know I did a walk away video, and I know I've done a video on the kneeling of the anthem and some other things, but I haven't really completely just addressed the issue with President Trump and what's happening to our country right now. And I feel like it's just time that I just kind of put myself in the middle of the conversation, because I feel like the more of us that do this, the clearer picture those who either are not sure or still believe in certain rumors and issues with our president, that I can just kind of clear it up from my point of view and where I see things. Because maybe if you know me and you hear my take on things, it might help you understand somebody else and where they may tend to agree, with everything happening right now, and that is we voted in Donald Trump. Donald Trump is not president for any other reason than he was voted in. He got the electoral votes, and he is everything that America needed at the time we were given him. And it just it saddens me that with such a wonderful administration putting America first and making promises and keeping those promises, somehow has just kind of got lost under the racist narrative. And I got to tell you, I'm just so sick of hearing it. And I just wanted to kind of just come out and say, yes, my name is Anna, and I am a Trump supporter. I believe that he is making America great again. I believe he has made America great in things that he has already done. And I want that trend to continue, and I want America to keep being great. And so this weekend, went to the mall and purchased this hat. Nice red color. I just love it with my purple. And Keep America Great. I chose this hat, one, because it is a copywritten statement, Make America Great Again, so I couldn't just walk into a hat store and have them make me one. And so I was just kind of thinking about the last 20 months, and I believe that our country is definitely moving in a very, very good direction, a great direction, a direction in which I think a lot of us would agree we would like it to continue to move in. And so for that reason, I wanted to buy a hat. I wanted to support my support for the president and put it out there as plainly as possible that I am not a white supremacist. I am not a Nazi. I am not a racist. I am an American, and even on my president's bad days, I still support him, because even on our country's worst days, he is still absolutely looking out for and supporting us, the American people, the very people he made these promises to in his campaign, which is why he was elected. And this whole idea that our president ran on a racist narrative and that white supremacists came out in droves to put this president in office is really absurd, guys. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not trying to just do talking points or beat any dead horses here, but how many rap songs was Trump in before he put in his bid to be our next president? I mean, seriously, everybody wanted to be Trump. Everybody wanted Trump money. Everybody thought Trump was just the shit, right? And no sooner he's running for president and the media overnight shot out this accusation, and it has been played and played and replayed ever since. And it is driving me crazy because I don't know anybody who is racist. I don't know anybody who wants white power or white supremacists running our country, or, you know, the last I checked, I'm from Beaufort, South Carolina, and the last time we had the KKK in our town was like, I swear it was like in the 90s. More people showed up to tell them they weren't welcome. The rumor in the town was they got like one new member out of their little parade that they threw in our town, and they haven't been back since. So even back then in the 90s, this whole racist narrative was really dying out. Like, people were over it. There was really no place for it anymore. The KKK and their agenda for a white nation or whatever, just treating minorities like crap, whatever their agenda was, it was lost to people being more aware and conscious of the fact that that kind of behavior was wrong. And we have people marching in the streets for equal rights, and those people don't represent equality for everyone. So I'd like to know where all these racist people came from to vote for Trump, because even still yet, even though the KKK and, you know, other organizations like them do still tend to have rallies and get together, the news never reported it because it wasn't a big deal, because nobody shows up to these things anymore. Like I said, back in the 90s, people were starting to show up in protest of these people showing up, not encouraging them and becoming a part of their organization. So fast forward, and we're supposed to be a more progressive nation, and the whole idea of these people being the majority and taking over and making minority lives horrible, I don't see it. Quite frankly, 5 years ago, if a white nationalist had some kind of rally, we wouldn't have even heard about it. The news wouldn't have reported it. They would have had their rally of like maybe a handful of people showing up. The day would have went on, and the next days would have gone on. No harm, no foul, because there was nothing to report. There was a couple white people that got together to send a hateful message, and 5 people showed up to hear it. That's not news. But the second Trump put in his name and started running for president and became our president, all of a sudden white nationalists were taking over the country? No. The media just started giving them attention again because it fit the narrative they were trying to sell, that our president was speaking to these people. The president was not speaking to those people. If anything, the media just kind of helped these people feel comfortable enough to show their faces. And honestly, it's almost 2 years later, I don't see that many faces. As a matter of fact, I see more racial issue coming from the Antifa organization than anybody else. So I'm just having a real hard time with why people were just so easily ready to get on this train of ideas that our president is racist and so are his supporters. The president is against women and so are his supporters. Anything that the president does that is good, wonderful, you would think is a bipartisan issue, has been completely shut down by the other side. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to acknowledge it. And that, I think, is where the biggest issue with Trump supporters is with the other side, is that not that you disagree with the president. By all means, disagree where disagreement is, due and deserved. But when you're disagreeing with everything, and when you're so ready to disagree with stuff that you're willing to side with Antifa and MS-13, I'm sorry, but Trump derangement syndrome seems to be the proper word for what's happening with some of you guys and how you're reacting to this, because I am not a racist, and nowhere in my voting for President Trump was that even a thought in my mind. I voted for a man who promised to do things on a whole other scale than any other president has ever done. He came in with his own money. He came in not having special interest or lobbyists controlling him. And he's a businessman. And y'all know Trump, he's got the ego. So, I mean, I don't understand where you think he would want to fail this country over a racist agenda when everything he's doing has his name on it. He's a businessman. He wants to be successful, and he wants the country to be successful. He doesn't care what color you are. He doesn't care if you're a man or a woman. The only thing it seems to me that he cares about is if you're a legal citizen or not. That seems to be, the deciding factor, and if he thinks he's speaking to you or not. And he spoke to the American people, and nothing that I heard him say was remotely racist, promoted a racist agenda, or made me feel like we were going to be set backwards 50 years because we allowed this man to become president. I firmly believe most people voted for Trump for the same reason I did. We had enough of identity politics. We've had enough of just politicians and their revolving door of promises and running on the same promises every single ticket, never once doing anything about it. Our country is in financial debt. Why not give a businessman a chance to kind of clean up some of the messes that previous administrations left behind? And whether you agree with him or not, the things that he has promised to do, he's done. And I mean, just off the top of my head, thinking about the things that he's done for our country to make it great again. Number one, smaller government. He does not want Washington in your business. He doesn't want states to have to be controlled by the government and their laws. He wants each state to have its say, and that means the people. He wants you to decide what happens in your city, your county, your district, your state. And if you all decide that you want 5 different bathrooms to accommodate every single type of person that is going to school, that is your right to do it. He never said you can't do it. He just said, I and my government shouldn't be the one to say this is what you should do. I'm not in your state. I'm not in your town halls. I'm not at your PTOs. So I should not be deciding what happens in your town when you make certain decisions. That is called small government. That is called allowing the people to make a decision. And I found that to be refreshing, to kind of relinquish some control, because where the government giveth, they can take it. But if it's not theirs to give, it's not theirs to take, right? So I feel like this is a good thing. It's a good accomplishment for Americans to have smaller government. Smaller government has also meant less regulations, all across the board. They have made it easier for businesses to thrive and for new businesses to be born. More women and more minorities have been able to start a business under the Trump administration than ever before. Why is this not good news? Because Trump is the one who's president and doing these things. Because you were sold a narrative that he's racist? His actions don't show racism. His actions show that he is America first. And if you're an American, you're first. You're important. Your life matters. And that means understanding the life of the little guy, which he's done. He's brought work back to the coal industry. And whether you agree with it or not, those states that thrive on that economy and that energy, they're happy. You know, every decision the president makes isn't going to make every group of people happy. But if you see he's working it out and giving everybody a little bit of something to enjoy, why can we not give that credit? Because the media slandered this man overnight with this conspiracy of selling he's a racist. Nothing he has done has shown racism. And don't get me started on the whole he doesn't want certain people from certain countries coming, the bans. If you look at the countries that are having problems right now, and if you look at the countries in which we've had conflict or things that have been called to question, those are the countries on the list. And hello, we have to protect ourselves. I mean, if our country was attacked by the French for 10 years straight, a ban on the French seems to make sense. So when you have these countries and these people coming from these places that are causing issues, problems, and violence in our country, he has a right to ban certain countries from coming into our country. And it's not even a full ban from what I understand. It's like a temporary ban. It's just a longer vetting process. And what's wrong with that? Oh yeah, that's right. Because just like protecting our borders, that's racist too. I'm sorry, guys. That's not racism. That is taking care of our country and making sure that the people that are coming here the right way. Not only to satisfy the government and the people that the ones coming in are honest to goodness, ready to be Americans, but because the very people who did use that process to get here, how do you think they feel? They spent probably 4 times the amount of money and spent about 10 times more of the time to get into this country than the people that just sneak in and commit crime, get on welfare. I mean, now in certain districts in California, illegals are able to vote at school, like PTO meetings and stuff. Like they get to have their say in what's happening in the schools and everything. And it's like, hold it. Slow your roll a little bit. Like, we have a country with borders and policy, and we're not the only country. But because Trump has decided, and not even decided, it's not his choice to decide what to do. His job is to do these things and enforce these things. He didn't put any laws into place. He enforced previous administration laws. Again, that's not racist. I'm just having a really hard time taking anybody serious who comes at me with the argument that our president is racist when the actions far, far outweigh the accusations. And if you're 20 months into this and you're still not able to find a good thing to say about our president, I just have to kindly ask, are you just trying to hate him because you feel like hating him makes you a better person and not a racist? Because from where I sit, judging this man by rumor and not even looking at the condition of our country, which is in an amazing place right now, a great place right now, I want to keep that greatness happening. And I'm sorry, if the only thing you can say about our president is that he's a racist, well, that's not enough for me to turn Democrat. That's not enough for me to give a Democrat another chance to completely destroy this country. I'm about promises made, promises kept, and all the promises made and all the promises kept have made this country great again, and it will continue to be great. But the people fighting the fight and not even on good merit, it's exhausting. I mean, if you have a legit beef with our president and something that he's done, call him to the carpet on what he's done and how you feel it's not a benefit to this country. But don't say, oh, it's not good that we're in talks with Korea because Trump's a racist. Oh, it's not good that we got the remains of our fallen soldiers from the Korean War because a racist brought them back. You see what I'm saying here? There are good things to acknowledge about this president that should be bipartisan issues that everybody across the board are happy with because they're good decisions for this country. And it should make people ask, if he's doing all of these things, and these things are making this country so great and wonderful, why is the media and the left hitting him so hard? Like, to the point that we can't even acknowledge the good that he does. I heard one report say Trump could walk on water and CNN would report that he can't swim. Like, there's just no end in sight to this constant need to just go the opposite of our president because somebody got to you and made you believe something that's not even true, and you're so blinded by that the man's own actions can't outweigh what you've been told. I kind of got to ask, what has you holding on to this idea so much? Do you want a racist president? Do you want to hate him because he's white? Was it going to be any president, any white Republican, had Hillary not won because so many people were waiting for a woman? Yeah, we'd like a woman one day, just not that woman, you know? So, again, there's all of these things that were in play, that are still in play, and why we voted the way that we did. And none of it, absolutely none of it, had anything to do with white power, white nationalism, Nazism, bigotry, any of those things. And again, I ask you, look at our president's record. Look at the people he's hired. Plenty of women in very powerful positions. Even his last Supreme Court justice didn't get as much heat as this one is getting. And we all know why this one is getting heat. Because we're in a 4-4 situation. 4 liberal, 4 conservative. And any conservative that might tip the scales, it was going to be an issue. So again, these personal attacks that the media and the left have designed to make you unsure, it's working. And I ask you, wake up. See what has been happening that's been great about this country. And ask yourself why the left is fighting so hard against it. Great is great, guys. Lower taxes, smaller government, just an right-on-time military, an active and involved president in our politics, hitting the campaign trail for the ones he wants to see get the win. You know, he is a very involved president. And if you come at me about racism and golf courses, I just got nothing for you. Sorry. But anything else that you feel like is an issue with our president policy-wise, things he said on Twitter, any of those things that you can rightly attack as wrong, again, I'm not saying you can't not disagree with our president. What I'm saying is, as Americans, even on his bad day, we should still support him and be proud Americans and proud of the accomplishments that our president has made and continues to make on a daily basis. So that's what I have to say about that, and my hat. And just people watching, just to get a better understanding of why we've changed the dynamics of our politics and our presidency. It was important. It was time to do that. And just as a last side note, think of all the things that have come out about Hillary and the Democrats and ask yourself, where would we be as a country right now if China was running Hillary and most of her secrets were still buried beneath all of those people who have had nothing but time to just keep covering up her bullshit. You know what I mean? So again, this isn't me trying to attack anyone personally for their beliefs, but just to say, look at both sides, look at the bigger picture, look at the things that have come out, and ask yourself, where would we be right now if Hillary and the Democrats were in charge of all of these things that have come out about them? Our president isn't the bad guy, you guys, and he's not racist, and neither are, I would say, 99.99% of his supporters. And anybody who is of white supremacy, KKK affiliations, who are supporters of our president, we don't claim you guys, so they don't count. But that's what I have to say. Hopefully I don't lose too many friends over this, and you understand where I'm coming from, and that this is not a black or white issue. This is a policy issue, and as far as I can tell, again, even if he's done some things we might not like, he made the promise and he kept it, and that's way, way, way more than I can say for a lot of the administrations who have had the chance to make this country great and did not do it. Because, again, I guess it's just easier to run on promises than to run on what keeps things happening and good all the time. And our country deserves to be great all the time and reap the benefits of that. And again, even on our worst day, guys, we're still the best country in the world. And as long as we're striving to fix those things that we could always do better on, we're still doing pretty damn good. And I am proud to be an American, and I am proud to support our president. Thanks, guys. Bye.